All right, in this diagram, let's identify some things. Let's identify all the transversals. So since all of our lines are kind of intersecting here, let's pick two lines. So here we go. Let's say we're talking about lines N and lines L. That's two lines. What is their transversal? Okay, what's the line that passes through the both of them? Well, line M would be their transversal. Okay, so M is a possible transversal. Just depends on which pair of lines you are talking about. Okay, next, let's look at another pair of lines. Let's say lines M and line N. What would be their transversal? What's the line that goes through that pair of lines? Well, line L is their transversal. Okay, so you can see we have more than one. Line N is also a transversal. It would be if we took line L and line M as our lines, our pair of lines. Line N passes through both of them in two unique points, so it could also be a transversal. So notice in this diagram, all three of these lines can be a transversal. It just depends on which one we are trying to identify. Now this suggests we do all pairs of alternate interior angles, but let's try and find a pair of alternate interior angles. Okay, so let's say that we have this line and this line, and here is our transversal. Okay, so let's make L the transversal. Let's find all of the alternate interior angles. So interior again means between the two lines, so it's going to have to be inside of here. Alternate means on opposite sides of the transversal, so one will have to be above and the other below. Notice angle 2 is between our two lines and it's above. Angle 6 is between the two lines but below the transversal. So one pair of alternate interior angles is angle 2 and angle 6. What else do we have? Notice angle 1 is also on the interior of those two angles. Angle 5 is on the interior. Notice they're diagonal from one another. One's on the bottom of the transversal, the other's on the top. So that makes them also alternate interior angles. Okay, the reason I don't have any other pairs labeled is because if we tried any other pair of lines, notice there's not any angles out here and there's not any angles out here. So there's not a whole lot more I can do for alternate interior angles. Okay, let's clear out for a second and let's try another type of angle. Okay, what if we wanted alternate exterior angles? Okay, well the only exterior angles I have are 1 and 6, it looks like. Okay, but what are they exterior angles for? Oh, there's an angle 4 over here is also exterior. So let's take a look. If we have M as our transversal, okay, and M is passing through this other pair of lines. Let me get a different. Okay, so the red lines are transversal. What lines is it crossing through? It's crossing through L here, and it's crossing through N. So let's look over here at this part of our picture. Alternate exterior. Okay, exterior is outside of our pair of lines, so that would be any angle out here and out here, not in the middle here. Okay, this is the interior here, and here is the exterior. We want alternate exterior. Notice angle 4 is on the exterior to the right of the transversal. Angle 6 is on the exterior to the left. They are diagonal, alternate, and they are both exterior. So angle 4 and angle 6 would be a pair of alternate exterior angles. Okay, let me reset my lines here. The reason I do that is because I notice I have another exterior angle here, but it's on a different transversal. Okay, it's on transversal L. Okay, what lines is L passing through? Let's take a look. L is passing through different color here. L is passing through M and N. Okay, so I'm just going to look at just the transversal here. So just this section of my picture. I want alternate exterior. So again, exterior is on the outside of our two lines. Here's the middle. This is inside of the pair of lines. Exterior would be anything out here or out here. I have an exterior angle. This angle 1 is exterior. And notice angle 4 is also exterior. 2 and 3 are on the interior. Are 1 and 4 alternate? Yes, 4 is above the transversal, 1 is below. They're on opposite sides of the transversal. Okay, so angle 1 and angle 4 are also alternate exterior angles, but using a different transversal. 4 and 6 were on transversal M, 1 and 4 were on transversal L. So this is a little more complicated picture than we've worked with in the past. But if you just isolate one transversal at a time, it makes it a lot easier, and just ignore the rest of the photo. Next, we want to identify the corresponding angles in the picture. Now, corresponding, remember, are angles that are in the same position in an intersection. So let's just look at intersections when you deal with corresponding. So here's an intersection. We only have two angles there that are labeled. We have two other angles, but they're just not labeled. And here's another intersection. Okay, now notice 1 for this intersection is in the bottom right hand corner. Okay, what is underneath and in the right hand corner here? Angle 3. Notice they're in the same position. Angle 2, we would need an angle to be right here, and it's not labeled. For angle 4, its corresponding angle is here. It's also not labeled. So right now the only corresponding angle for this intersection that's actually labeled is angle 1 and angle 3. Okay, let me clear that out, and then we'll check out. Okay, if we look at, again, this intersection here and this intersection here, we needed corresponding. So angle 5 is upper left hand corner of its intersection. Its corresponding angle would be right here, upper left hand corner of this intersection, and it's not labeled. Angle 2 is in the upper right hand corner of this intersection. Its corresponding angle would be right here, but it's not labeled. And angle 1 is in the bottom right hand corner. Its corresponding angle would be here, but it's not labeled. And finally, angle 6 is in the bottom left hand corner. Its corresponding angle would be this one right here, and it's not labeled. So we don't get a pair of corresponding angles out of that relationship right there. Let's try our last intersection. Okay, our last pair of intersections here, we have this intersection here and this intersection here. If M were our transversal, those would be our pair of intersections. So let's look for corresponding angles. Where 4 is in the left, to the right of the transversal and above this line, its corresponding angle would be here, but again, that's not labeled. Angle 5 is above its transversal and to the left. Its corresponding angle on this intersection would be here, not labeled. Angle 3 is to the left of the transversal and below. Okay, its corresponding angle is to the left and below. Angle 6, so angle 3 and angle 6 are our only other pair of corresponding angles. And again, this is a more complex drawing, but you just need to isolate one transversal at a time when you're trying to identify different parts. Okay, I'm going to clear one more time, and then we'll talk about same side interior angles. Okay, so remember, when we have a complex drawing, just focus on one transversal at a time. So let's focus on if N were our transversal. Notice N is passing through this pair of lines. Okay, so there's our two lines. Again, N's the transversal going through them. Same side interior. Interior has to be between our pair of lines, so that's going to be anything inside here. 1 and 2, 5 and 6 are all interior angles if N is our transversal. Okay, we want them on the same side. So notice 2 is above the transversal, 5 is above the transversal. That makes them a pair of same side interior angles. So angle 2 and angle 5 are same side interior. Notice 1 and 6 are both below their transversal. They're on the same side of the transversal And on the interior or between the pair of lines, that makes them same side interior. Angle 1 and angle 6 are same side interior angles. Now I'm going to clear my picture so I can look at a different transversal, see if we have any other same side interiors just on a different transversal. Okay, let's focus on a different, let's make L our transversal this time. So we're just going to focus on the part of the picture that's surrounding L. Okay, notice we do have a pair of lines that L is passing through. The interior would be anywhere between those two lines, so anything in here. 2 and 3 are both on the interior. Are they on the same side of the transversal? Yes, they're both to the right of the transversal. So angle 2 and angle 3 are a pair of same side interior angles if L is our transversal. Notice this angle here and this angle here would be the other pair. They're just not labeled. I'm going to clear one more time and we'll look at what we get if M is our transversal. Okay, so let's say M is our transversal. So again, we're just going to focus on the part of this figure that is surrounding M. We do have a pair of lines that's passing through. Okay, so again, if you just need to block this part out, pretend like it's not there, that's how I would operate it. Interior, we want same side interior, so we need between our pair of lines, so anything in here. Notice angle 3 and angle 5 are our only interior angles that are labeled. We want same side. Are 3 and 5 on the same side of the transversal M? Yes, they're both to the left of it. 3 and 5 are a pair of same side interior. This angle and this angle would also be a pair of same side interior, but they're just not labeled. So our last pair, since they wanted us to name all of them, our last pair of same side interior were angle 3 and angle 5. So you can see on a complex drawing like this, it just depends on which transversal you're looking at. So if you just focus on one transversal at a time, you can identify the different parts.